episode 13.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of Three Men on the Record. We have today with us, we have Joe. Of course, we have Gonzo Shenanigans, Jake over there on your screen, and Scott also. Those are returning people. And then we got Joe there. And today we're going to be going over, the usual the essentials, any news. Obviously, we're going to talk about Bob Weir a little bit. Also, we're going to be Bob Seger, the top five essential Bob Seger albums. Seger. I don't know how you want to pronounce it.
Seger.
So, Joe, what have you been up to since last time you were on here with us?
A whole lot. I mean, we've been between Christmas. I think it wasn't November last time I was on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me back again. After my first appearance on here, I didn't know if y'all would invite me back or not, but I'm glad that you did. This might be my second and last appearance, maybe. But no, things have been going good. Christmas, holidays go by. It takes forever for them to get here. Sometimes it seems like, and then when they do get here, it seems like they go by in such a flash. So I mean, Christmas and then New Year's. Me and my wife had a good time here recently. Right at the first of the year, we were able to. The company I work for had a celebration, and we were able to go to the resort, spend the night, have kind of like a New Year's party with fellow coworkers, most that I'd never met in my life because they all work at the hotel. So, but that's been pretty much it. Not much. Been listening to. I was telling the guys beforehand. Signed up for a subscription for nugs.net. And been listening to a lot of live streams, concerts, and everything. And if you're into that kind of stuff, concerts, live, it's a lot cheaper to get a subscription to that than it is to actually go to a concert. So, been watching a lot of former, previous concerts and also new concerts. So that's what I've been up to.
Cool. All right.
Well, good to have you back, Joe.
So we're going to talk about last week's show. Obviously, we were talking about the Grateful Dead. With our friend, we call him the Grateful Dentist. And the next 2 days later, the unfortunate news of Bob Weir is passing. Anything you guys want to say, talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this one hurt. I'll be honest. It goes back to the conversation that I've had so many times, where all of our heroes that we grew up listening to, and obviously Adam, Grateful Dentist, being a huge Dead fan, and is dedicated, so many years to just the deadness, right? We all have those bands that we cling on to and we fall in love with. And as we get older, the sad thing is you have this realization that in a decade's time, we're probably going to lose a lot of our heroes. And we're slowly starting to see that. And it really stings when you lose the good ones. And Bob Weir was just such a force. And such an important figure of the Dead. And when I found out about it, I was actually driving home from work. Adam was the first person I thought of. Just so bummed about it because I knew that it really was going to probably affect him. But I believe that Adam was at a concert during his passing, which was one of the players that played with Bob Weir, and I think he had announced it and played songs. So what not a better place to be to celebrate someone's life than at a concert watching a musician that played with Bob Weir and honored him by singing some of his songs. I mean, couldn't have been at a better place.
Yeah, that's what made it so relevant for me that we had just had Adam on. And I think immediately when we heard the news, we all thought of Adam. But, you had shared, he had shared in the chat with us where he was at. And the fact Thursday night he had done the podcast and got to talk about the Dead for like 45 minutes. I thought, that's, if you had to do it, that's a pretty good Bob Weir week. If he's going to die that week, he had some real tangible experiences to relate back to his love of the group. So
yeah, that was and because I mean, with my experience, because for me, when Jimmy Buffett passed, it was with family and all friends that were all Buffett fans, and being with that group together, being with a like group with that likes the same thing, definitely makes it a little bit easier
Yeah,
when you're with others. And with him being at that concert, that was kind of probably the perfect way.
perfect spot.
Yeah. So I think that was pretty fortunate the way it kind of went down. So that's pretty cool. So news this week, we have the vinyl final. So vinyl final.
I guess I can't say nothing about Bob Weir.
Oh, go ahead. No.
Joe, no,
Joe,
you're grounded.
You can.
Joe, you're just a guest here. Please remember that.
No. Well, I mean, I'm not a huge. I like the Grateful Dead. I have quite a few of their albums. I really enjoy listening to them. I would love to actually go see them in concert because, like Adam was talking about during the last show, they are a concert band.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are, and they didn't like being in the studio, but they had some really good studio albums. And even though Jerry's been gone for so long, Bob has been carrying the torch, and they've had some fantastic ones that I've able to watch, from a distance, live streaming and everything, and just great music. Now, it's not the production sound everything's going to be perfect, but personally, I like music like that. It's more authentic. It's not polished. It's not getting rid of every mistake, because to me, sometimes mistakes in music makes the best music, to be honest with you. And Bob, I always, when he passed, I was looking at a bunch of old pictures of Bob prior to the long hair and the beard. You see him without a beard, you wouldn't recognize him. I mean, really, and he was, I think like Adam said, I think he was the youngest. He was the youngest kid in the band, wasn't he? With the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, he was the youngest, I believe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's sad to hear his passing. But man, he's been going strong for a very, very long time.
Oh yeah.
So.
And a great legacy they left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think he honored. I think Bob. I don't know what Bob's, because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to continue, touring. But I mean, it just shows the love for not only the music that they produce, but also for the band, and just shows that he was really about all the right things.
Yeah, the friendship that he and Jerry Garcia had, I mean, it was more they were brethren, right? I mean, it was a brotherhood. He pretty much known him his whole life. I mean, he left school to go and join the Dead. And that must have been very tough when, he lost Jerry, which we lost Jerry. I think this is going to be 31 years. Was it 94 or 95 when he passed?
Yeah, it was the 90s.
95, I think. But he did it. Yeah, I agree, Joe. He did such an amazing job just, carrying the torch, honoring Jerry and the Dead, continuing on, playing the music. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right?
And the rotation of people coming in and out of the band. In and out,
yeah.
It didn't matter. I mean, they just, I like seeing how they love, like John Mayer, loved playing with Bob Weir. And and how Bob Weir and playing with Bob and the Dead and company, how it revived his career in a lot of ways and changed.
Bob even played with Paul Simon.
Yeah.
He even came and did some live stuff with Paul Simon.
I'd rather listen to John Mayer.
You just like how he just kind of snuck that in there. I'll just listen to John Mayer.
So, is there any new vinyl that's coming out that you guys are looking forward to? Because they did just announce the vinyl file for Erykah Badu and Peter Frampton Comes Alive. Anything else you guys are looking forward to that you guys have on your watch list?
Yeah, well, Rhino announced a new set of reserves coming. Got a bunch of Van Morrison in there I think I'd be interested in. And also Analog Productions is doing this deal too. I mean, I don't love 45 RPM. It's got to be one of my top albums to get it on 45 RPM. So they're also doing some Morrison. So I would primarily look at those. There was a couple other in that list of 40 that they released that I think I would have some interest in. But, what a great time we live in that, it's hard to keep up with all the quality audiophile pressings coming up. We're very fortunate to have what we have now.
Joe Bonamassa's putting out I think it's a double, at least a double, might be a triple album that's coming out February. It's celebrating B.B. King and all the music of B.B. King. He's got a killer lineup of people playing with him. You can stream it on Spotify now. Not all the songs, but quite a few of them. But I'm really looking forward to that because what I've listened to so far sounds fantastic.
That sounds cool.
And the second thing would be the chess reissues. I know they've done 2 or 3, maybe 4 now with the Howlin' Wolf, the Muddy Waters' first album, which was a comp of his really early stuff from like 48 to 54, I believe, or whatever. That album came out in 1958, and it sounded like garbage when it came out because it was just so old and not pressed very well. So I haven't gotten a copy of that yet. I want to get a copy of that, and I'm looking forward because Chess has got a killer lineup of albums, and I really hope they dig into that.
Well, they got they did they're available now. The Eddie James at last just came out.
Chuck Berry? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those are available now, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they're going to do.
And Jake, you looking for anything that's coming out soon or anything? Anything on your radar?
I would be interested in the Van Morrisons, especially if they're going to come out with Astral Weeks and Moondance. Astral Weeks has always probably been my favorite Van Morrison album. Veed & Fleece, also another one of my favorites. I think I have a Vinyl Me Please of it somewhere, but there are just certain albums, anytime they come out, you seek them. You go and you grab them because you're always searching for a better quality record. Is something going to sound different that the other record that you got before the other record that you got before the other damn pressing that you got, is it going to sound better? So you're just always in that.
Yeah, Veed & Fleece repress is definitely due. I mean, I'm hoping Rhino Reserve picks that one up.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a question for you guys. I was looking at the most songs played on Spotify last year, but the most songs played, the single song that was requested most in the 60s, from 1960s or the 70s, 80s, 90s. So, for example, last year, the number one song from the 60s that played on Spotify last year was Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortunate Son. 1970s, the most played song on Spotify was Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. 1980s, it was Journey.
Was
the most requested song on Spotify last year. The 90s, because the song was included in Deadpool versus Wolverine, the Goo Goo Dolls' Iris was the number one played song from the 90s on Spotify.
Wow.
2000s was The Killers' Mr. Brightside.
Oh, got some of my groups going here.
272 million times it was played on Spotify.
What a great
272 million people were high.
And then 2010, Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey.
Yeah,
I believe that. I believe that.
Very
and then
popular song.
2020, a song I don't even know, Alex Warren's Ordinary. I don't know that song. 746 million plays.
Wow, he probably got a check for
8 cents.
$1,200.
$12.
Yeah.
So 12.
It's just amazing. Year after year, certain albums always sell. Like Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is the number one record that sells every year. It's crazy.
Yeah. And for 20 years, Journey's Don't Stop Believing has been the number one catalog rock track. It's the all-time digital download winner, more than any other song. Don't Stop Believing.
Just goes to show that music stands the test of time.
Yeah.
They're doing the analog production. I was looking at the 45 RPM of Gordon Lightfoot's Sundown.
Oh yeah, I meant to tell Jake that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll definitely be getting that.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my all-time favorite albums.
All right. So this is the point of the show where we show if we've gotten any new arrivals, and we always start with our guests.
Oh, really?
If they're ready.
That's so nice of you, Sean. Are you trying to make up for?
No,
trying to make up for being a jerk earlier?
Yeah, I'm gonna forget someone again. Just speak up.
Should we just forget them? The rest of them.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just forget Sean.
All right. So
Joe
here,
forgets me all the time.
I forget you.
Always.
Whatever. This is Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline, but you see how shiny that cover is?
Yeah.
It's in shrink.
Huh?
Is it in shrink? It's not.
It's a UK.
Oh,
UK.
Nice.
Yeah, I've never seen it. It actually has somebody from, how do you say it? Worcestershire, Mass.
Worcester.
She's got her name. She's got her name on it. It's probably Linda Daft. Are you related to her, Sean?
Linda Daft.
I was hoping you were related.
Doesn't sound
to her.
familiar, but that's Worcester, Mass. Worcester. That's the same place where I saw Garth Brooks live. Worcester, Mass.
I was hoping she'd be related to you.
That would have been awesome.
This right here, I got this from Thor. I don't know. Do y'all know
good
what's his? I didn't pay attention to what his actual name was.
Thomas.
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom. And what's cool about this is it's from the library. I can't read his name. It's the cursive, but from this gentleman's library, June 14, 1964. This album came out in 1960. But see, I like stuff like this because the history, the idea that he took time to catalog it and everything.
Yeah.
This thing's absolutely gorgeous. I think this is my third copy of this. Got a couple of jazz titles.
Floyd.
Yeah, I'm a jazz. I'll listen to everything. I got 5x5 by Monk. I think this come out in the 50s. It's on Riverside. The Columbia 6i of Miles Ahead. Come out originally with a different cover. Miles didn't like it because I think it had a lady on the front of it. I'm almost done here. John Lee Hooker, The Cream. It's on the Tomato label, and I think it has the paper bag sleeves, which is pretty cool. Lazy Lester, True Blues. This is a later reissue, but this is pretty cool. It's actually signed by Lazy.
Oh, wow.
The real Lazy Lester.
Yeah. And
awesome.
harmonica player. And it's a good friend of mine that I met on another live stream. He lives out in Oregon. And one of my favorite self-titled albums ever.
Little John.
This is a first press.
And do you know who produced that album?
Goodman.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, what do you do, Sean? You just set on that and wait for somebody to have some association?
Yeah, I've had it there for 13 shows. It's been sitting there.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Six separation. Yeah. So it was 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And one step away from
even
bucket, so
if it's made up, it gives them an excuse to show it.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who produced that? That's right. John Johnson produced it. But you know who John Johnson was? He was Loretta Johnson's sister's brother's second cousin, Steve Goodman. Steve Goodman had a paper route.
Oh, and this last one, just for Floyd.
I have
Charles Mingus. This is Columbia 6i.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic album.
You got to choke on that, Floyd.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, do you have any new arrivals today?
Nothing. I like Joe's new purchases. That's a good cluster of blues records, man. Even some autographs. So a lot of the stuff I have is, nothing new per se, but y'all know me. I'm a big Roger Waters Radio Chaos fan. Thank you very much, Scott, for having this in your show during your Buyer's Appreciation show with Retro Retreat. I have a sealed original of this. I have a gold stamp promo of this. And when I saw how clean this copy was, I had to get it. It just holds a lot of sentimental value to me. Radio Chaos, look, it has, I mean, I even wanted to have this as one of my essentials, right? But I chose not to because number one, I think you have to be a big Pink Floyd fan to really appreciate a lot of the solo stuff. And it is, dated. It's got some 80s sounds to it, but I do think it's a great record considering how fast he put the album together. So thank you, Scott, for that. That's one. Number two, these are rarities, guys and gals. These are probably the two most pristine copies of Neil Young records I've ever had. One is, they should both be in the Smithsonian. One is the infamous Neil Young Trans, and then the other is Scott Knight's personal favorite. He knows every song and every lyric to every song. That would be his number one album of all time, Neil Young's Everybody's Rockin'. I want you to get a real good look at that face.
Didn't you say Scott has that tattooed on his tricep?
Yeah.
No, that's still the real story. Jake said, "Oh, I need those 2 records to finish my collection." I said, "For God's sake, don't buy them. I'll send you
He's
mine."
like,
for free."
I'll send them to you. Like, take them.
Are these the
and then-
contractually obligated albums?
Yes.
Yes.
And Scott and I we have talked about this till we were like blue in the face. We definitely feel that all of this was done on purpose. We think he did it on purpose. And then I do have a 76 UK repress of this, but it's one of my all-time favorite albums. So it's one of those anytime I have an opportunity to get a
Where'd you
nice
get
clean
that?
reissue.
Where'd you get that?
This will
from?
be my player. I got this from you, Sean. Thank you very much.
Jake-
And Scott, have you listened to Pink Moon yet?
No, it's still sealed, waiting to be cleaned. I told you I'm way behind on listening to my new
It's
stuff.
sealed. Just unseal it and
He has like
play
8
it.
cleaners. He has like 8 cleaners right now. They could just
More than Cap City?
yes.
I only have 4.
Yeah.
That is true.
All right, Scott, you're up
Yeah,
next.
nothing.
Okay, this will prove I'm behind because I'm going to show a record that actually Sean sent me for Christmas, and I opened it, but I didn't open the record and clean it and listen to it. But I did that this week, and this is Toots and the Maytals.
Great record.
Funky Kingston. I am trying to collect everything that we put on the list, and Sean saved me the purchase of this, and it's a nice musical vinyl press. Sounded great. Enjoyed it a lot. So thank you, Sean. And then, it's hard to keep up with all the Rhino Reserves, so I missed this one back when they released it, so I went back and got it because I love Otis Redding.
That's a great album.
Yeah, like You Don't Miss Your Water. Man, that song is a powerful song. It's not one of his more popular ones, but anyway, did that. Got a couple others, but that's the ones I wanted to highlight.
Cool. I got a Great Sound Risky Business soundtrack. I got The Big Lebowski. And this badass, well, it's unofficial. We were just listening. This is apparently a Russian unofficial of Houses of the Holy and Zeppelin 4. And we just started listening to it today, and apparently that's what it is.
Double album?
It's got 2 albums, yeah.
You should preview that.
And it's a 91. It's a 91 Russian press, and at that point the wall was still up at that point. It was just coming down right around that time.
Oh, it would have been better if they would have K-tailed it, right? Like put both records on one record. That would have been super cool.
Yeah.
I think 90.
The wall
89,
came
90,
down.
I think.
The wall
Because
came down
Roger
in
Waters
89.
was there. I mean, he did the whole concert.
Yeah, I was in Germany. It came down in 89.
89. There you go. But so for some reason they needed that bootleg. I don't know why, but I have it now. And
It
then
was 89 when Reagan told him to tear down that wall, isn't it? Wasn't it that? Yeah.
this is not a Ludwig. I just got it from my sister because she has a Ludwig with the wrong numbers. So that's what I got.
You gonna switch it out? Give her that one?
Yeah, I was gonna give her a brand new one. Sounds great. It's minty. I'll trade you. But she paid $1 for it. She paid $1 for her Led Zeppelin and Robert Ludwig. The wall came down with Hasselhoff singing too, talking about freedom.
There you go. Live in Berlin. This is an original Roger Waters press. They
and then to
did.
the Trekkies. Yeah. All right. So where are we now? We got that. So now I guess we're gonna go over our 500 the essential albums, records that we think you should own or have part of your collection.
Somebody asked how many we had. Sean, we have 145 before tonight's. That's where we're at.
145. So there we go. So we're at 145, and you know what? It might end up being 510. Who knows? But it's records you should either own or definitely give it a listen. And of course, our guest gets to go first.
I'd rather not. One of y'all go first.
I'll go first tonight.
All right, there you go.
Wow, we're gonna break. Scott's gonna go first.
Oh, I've been waiting for 2 weeks for this night. You know what I got in my hand?
Yeah, I know what you got in your hand. We're gonna do a shootout because I want it done, and I swear to you, they will be in my favor of self-titled.
No.
I think y'all are at 144.
Well, we split Chris's.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the list and I said it's 144.
He tried to pull that 2 albums, 1 album crap. So all right. On behalf of the team here at 3 Men on the Record, I'd like to apologize for a grievous mistake was made a couple of weeks ago.
Wrong.
When we put together the Essential 500, our primary goal was to bring the most accessible albums by a group to the list. My good friend Jake presented Foo Fighters self-titled,
which is a legit mention. Legit.
And I think it was a grievous oversight. So tonight we're going to correct that oversight, put the record into the 500. That should have been the first Foo Fighters record in. Might be the only Foo Fighters record that should be in. And that is Color and Shape. Why Color and Shape? Well,
because it's produced a little bit better, maybe. That's it.
Maybe it outsold self-titled. Maybe it's outstreamed self-titled. Maybe there is nothing on self-titled that beats that drum intro, right? For My Hero. Come on. I mean, there are songs on this record that there's 3 songs on this record that are better than any song on self-titled. Monkey Wrench, My Hero, and Everlong. Everlong is Foo Fighters' most popular song ever. And
great song, but why do you think it sold so much? Because it rode off the success of the original record.
No, I think it sold. I think he was finding. When I listen to self-titled is a good record. I don't mean to be running it down, and I'm just having a little bit of fun here at Jake's expense. But I hear a reluctant lead man. That's what I hear, and I also hear a record that, while it's a great personal accomplishment to play every instrument on a record, I don't think that always leads to the most creative, best sounding record. Like,
remember, it's raw. It is a raw record compared to the Color and Shape. It's raw, but that's what makes it.
It's quieter, and I would even say it's recorded kind of low for a record of that era. The volume, the gain on it is not very high, and I like some of the songs on there. But like I said, the fact that this record has 3 just absolute Foo Fighter classics, and there are other people playing, just like Steve Winwood had his greatest success when he brought in a bunch of people to help him with Back into High Life versus Steve Winwood was a guy who was playing a lot of the instruments on those previous 2 albums, Talking Back to the Night and Arc of a Diver. Boom, he brings him in. So like I said, I was just having some fun at Jake's expense, but this record right here, I think is the superior, is the quintessential Foo Fighters record. And I don't think they did. The next record is pretty good too, Nothing Left to Lose. And they didn't do anything that good till, what is it, Medicine at Midnight? Is that the name of that record? That one was a really good record. So
I think every other album after their first 3 records, I think, had kind of like a lot of Pearl Jam records, Scott. They had one
They
or
had
two
songs, yeah.
real good songs, and then everything else was just push the album along.
So you had 5 million copies worldwide sold, 3 million in the U.S. Big time sound on this. I mean, if you like John Bonham's thundering drum, like listen to what Dave Grohl does on My Hero. That is an amazing opening to a song, and actually, is my favorite Foo Fighter song. It's My Hero, and so it reached. They didn't really have any top 100 singles, but they had 4 songs that did chart in the modern rock chart. And they had a lot of airplay. Wasn't My Hero in a movie too?
Yeah,
Varsity
I think so.
Blues. Was it Varsity Blues?
I think so.
Yeah. So
Great
I just
video.
like, and Jake is right. This record is, like Joe, I can like some rawness sometimes, but I like something that's expertly crafted too. And this record is definitely, I would say, highly produced, but not to the point where it doesn't feel authentic. But a lot of times I can agree with Joe. Some stuff is just too slick. Anyway, so I'll add that tonight. I've already applied the sticker to it, and we put it in the 500. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah. Now, is the song, the title song, is it on that album? Was it The Color and the Shape?
Yeah, The Color and Shape is on here, I believe. Yeah. I mean, look.
Because I was looking, I listened to it on Spotify, and then I looked up the track listing on something else, and I didn't see it. It's like it was on something else. I didn't know.
No, it's actually not on here.
It was like on the CD or something like that, which I thought was kind of weird.
There's somebody else that did that too. Oh, Bryan Adams did that with Reckless. He had a song Reckless, but he didn't put it on the album. It came out later.
Well, I will say this. Me and my wife listened to that the other night together. We streamed it. I only knew 2 songs off of it. I knew My Hero and Everlong.
Yeah.
And then I played, was it the color? What's the name of it? The Color and the Shape? What's it?
The Color and the Shape.
Yeah.
She said, turn that off. Turn it off. It's horrible. Horrible. And I will say, I knew 4 songs. I'm going to back up Jake here. I knew 4 songs off the self-titled.
I think about it better.
This is a call. I'll stick around for all the cows. Big Me. Don't even have Winnebago on there. There are huge hits on self-titled.
Not huge hits. No.
Yes.
So the 2 songs we both knew, and the title track song, which is not actually on the album, she said, cut it off. That's horrible.
I love I'll Stick Around. That was really the song that, I remember seeing the music video. For
Big Me is my favorite one off the self-titled, but yeah, Spotify users do not agree with you, Jake.
Well, we'll just have to have a discussion with them, won't we?
Discussion's over. Like I just put it in. It's over.
I've always enjoyed the Foo Fighters.
Just remember this. A band can have multiple records in the essential. Both of them are essential.
Yeah.
Color and the Shape was produced better and had more of an all-around sound because, yes, he had other bandmates that came in and contributed to the overall sound. So I will say, yeah, from a production quality, but like I told Scott when I did self-titled, this is kind of what I love about the original is because I like raw and unfiltered, records that just have particular sounds. Sometimes albums can be overproduced. I don't think The Color and the Shape was overproduced by any means. I love the album, but something about the first for me.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Sean, you do.
All right. So my first record came out in 1962. You guys know I always choose the eclectic and different. This is the one that made me want to go to San Francisco. If you know that hint, my pick is I Left My Heart in San Francisco, Tony Bennett. I've been a huge fan for Tony Bennett for a long time. Unfortunately, we just lost him this past year. And at first we were looking at Lady Gaga, but again, it's later on. Tony's voice isn't quite there. But the fact that Lady Gaga, I love it when like a Lady Gaga or other artists pair up with another artist, like an older artist, whatever, and it really brings that artist back to the forefront. So there's how many Lady Gaga fans who'd never heard of Tony now know of Tony. But we went with this one because this is basically his original. It's a classic. It won 2 Grammys, Song of the Year and Solo Vocals of the Year for a Grammy. It's remained in the charts for 149 weeks. I don't know what the worldwide numbers are, but it's definitely one you have to give it. You didn't see Tony making the list, Floyd, but it definitely. I love his vocals, and when we do a live albums, I'm gonna nominate a live album of his also, and see.
Well,
if that
that's
makes the
his.
list.
I will say that I streamed that this week because I knew it was coming up, and that record right there is as good as anything Frank Sinatra did. And I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan. That record is really good.
Yeah. So you might see. Well, we're gonna get a Frank up there at some point, but there's a couple live albums, especially he did in the early '90s, maybe. He did an MTV Unplugged. His star. He kind of started making it onto people's music radar, and he had a resurgence in the '80s, '90s, and I'm glad he did.
Well, Tony's one of those guys like Frank Sinatra, just like effortless vocals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he didn't sing, like they didn't have to work hard at all. And you just wonder if they even, how much did they actually practice, because they made it look so effortlessly, with
Joe,
their
did
vocals.
you and the wife listen to the Tony Bennett?
I did not. We did not listen to that together. She's familiar with Tony Bennett. I don't know if she's ever. I'm sure she's heard the title track, "Left My Heart in San Francisco." But she liked the. I do know we did listen. We have listened to the Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, and even then, even though Sean was making fun of him, the Tony Bennett still had a great voice
He
when
did.
he made that album with Lady Gaga.
Well, he had 2. They had Love for Sale,
Yeah.
which is better than the other one.
Cheek to cheek.
Cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
Love for Sale is better than Cheek to Cheek.
Yeah.
But it's
But
definitely.
if you and I did this, I listened to those records back to back. You probably shouldn't do that because you can hear the degradation in Tony's voice. I mean, his voice was sparkling, amazing.
Oh,
in
yeah.
62.
It was sparkling and amazing for like years.
Yes. It was.
And again, you get those lounge singers who did it every night after night, 2 or 3 times a night. They did a show in Vegas or Atlantic City. Like Frank would do shows like 12 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. shows. And this is the lounge singer. That's what they did. So it had to be effortless, because if you didn't, they wouldn't have a voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's incredible how often they had to play to make their money, and it definitely it's effortless when they were singing. Yeah, he did with Amy Winehouse also. Yeah, so that's my list, my song, and Jake, you're up.
I just got to say, Sean, if you
Yeah.
find as you're surfing the bins, if you find a super clean version of that, I need that.
All right. Yeah, I need another, because I was going through all my Tony, and I'm always looking for the better copy myself too. That needs a Rhino reissue right there.
Yeah.
Let's talk to those Rhino people.
We're going to start it off with a Williamsburg, Virginia native.
That's a
First
cool
album
place.
came out when he was 32 years old. Rather old to come out with a debut album, but man, did he come out with a bang. And I'm talking about a little bit of Bruce Hornsby in the Range, the way it is. Now, this is not the original jacket of the album. This is actually a 1986 repress, different cover. But yeah, so a couple of things. Sold 3 million copies in the U.S. Worldwide, I don't have an exact number, but it probably sold north of probably 2 million. So I'd say 5 to 7 million sales worldwide. The hits that we have that we know, The Way It Is, which was the number one hit in the Billboard Hot 100, number one adult contemporary. Mandolin Rain was top 5 on the U.S. charts, and Every Little Kiss charted on the Billboard Hot 100. The album itself peaked at number 3. Not bad for a first album, and a guy who'd been around with his brother. He and his older brother actually, got together in the 70s and, had bands together. And then eventually Bruce Hornsby went out to California after they had the Bobby High Test band and all that. And for several years, what they did is they wrote music. They were writers. And he formed the Range in 1984. And then we have this lovely masterpiece. I used to make fun of Bruce Hornsby when I was a little kid because the thing was just played nonstop on the radio, So I heard nothing but Hornsby in the Range nonstop in the 80s, especially on MTV as a child of the 80s, right? So MTV played the video all the time. As I got older, I really grew to appreciate his music. His writing, his piano chops are undeniable. You can't, Scott and I talk about this all the time. I can hear one smash of the keys and I know it's a Bruce Hornsby song. But I've really kind of expanded past, his first couple records. I've listened to some of the folk stuff that he's done over the years. And though his voice has gone somewhat of what it was back in, the mid-late 80s. There's still some good stuff that he puts out there. So, a good typical 80s kind of sound, some great hits. Hornsby in the Range, The Way It Is going to be my start, my number one for the night.
So, Jake, which one do you like better, The Way It Is or Mandolin Rain?
I would probably tell you Mandolin Rain is probably my favorite between the two. I like Every Little Kiss, but Mandolin Rain is probably my favorite.
Yeah, and it has on the Western Skylines on there too. That was the other single,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Joe
And
is just
not-
smirking his butt off over there.
Hold up.
I
You
don't
might
think
not
he's a
know
Hornsby
this.
fan.
Yeah, you might not know this, but believe it or not, Huey Lewis was all over this record.
He played harmonica
Yeah.
He did. He played
and
harmonica
some
and
backing vocals. Yeah,
He
backing vocals.
did on Down the Road. So a little cool piece of knowledge. But Hornsby collaborated with a lot of musicians, and a lot of people know too that for a brief period of time, Adam talked about it last show. He did play with the Dead for I think a year or so, year and a half. I'd have to go back and see what Adam said, but I trust Adam's judgment because he is a Dead historian. But yeah, one of Joe Willie's favorite musicians, Bruce
Well,
Hornsby. Joe, take it away, man.
I enjoy the playlist. When Scott was kind of late this time getting me the thing because I like to listen to all the songs ahead of time because I've heard, especially the last two, other than a while back when y'all done Billy Joel. I've never listened to a full Billy. Still haven't listened to a full album all the way through of Billy Joel. Heard songs, but I've heard the Bruce Hornsby. I've heard the most of the hits off his solo albums. But I was sitting there listening. I'm at work. I'm working on mowers and stuff, and then Wild Frontier comes up. So I'm sitting here listening to it, and I'm like, what did he just say? So I had to. Have you ever looked at the lyrics of those songs of Wild Frontier?
I will say this, Scott. If you ask me what my favorite Hornsby song is, it's probably The Show Goes On, which was off of what movie soundtrack? Because that's originally what I heard it off of. What movie?
I have no idea.
Backdraft.
Okay.
Directed by Ron Howard with Kurt Russell.
It's a great movie.
And
I just remember the fire. I don't remember much music out of that movie.
it was featured in Backdraft. But
But
that's probably my favorite Hornsby song.
But let's dive into some of these lyrics. I'm not going to read all of them. Take me all the way back to the wild frontier while I'm counting the miles, seeing her smile in the wild frontier. Electric sun, electric hair, leather skin, leather underwear.
Maybe a
She
smoker.
said, hey, you know I'm getting in the biz. Come on over. I'll show you where some action is in the wild frontier.
Leather skin. Probably a pack and a half a day smoker. Easy.
Leather underwear. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm a cotton guy. Leather underwear is a bad idea. That's a
Birthday
bad
suit,
idea.
perhaps.
Yeah.
I have to say, Joe, I never paid much attention to that song. Not one of the better songs on there.
Well, they all, I mean, to me, the great songs, they all have a great sound, but it all sounds the same to me. I mean,
really? I don't think. I mean, what I like about Hornsby too is that, like, if you do dive into lyrics, there's some very, very much like social commentary on.
Well, not only him and Don Henley.
Yeah, and his next record, which probably won't make the list, has the Valley Road and has Look Out Any Window. Like the lyrics in those songs are just great. If you dig into them and what they mean, very well done. So I don't know about this. I can't defend the Wild Frontier. That looks a little
leather underwear
out there.
145 people on this list, and this gentleman, Mr. Blind Boy Grunt, Mr. Jack Frost himself, is yet to be on the list. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. I'll be honest with you. You really should.
That's because Jake put like 47 Beatles related records.
Yeah, y'all really should. I mean, we've got
just grounded all three of us.
Oh, what Gary Wright? What's his name? The Dreamweaver before Mr. Bob Dylan. Mr. Bob Dylan, Mr. Robert Zimmerman.
Dylan in a top 5. You got to give us credit.
Yeah, but he's not on the list.
Joe, hold up here. You saved the best for last, baby. You save the best.
Well, this is
we're blaming because it was in the 5, so we talked about it. We'll put him down the road.
It's all excuses. Bobby D, as Jake likes to call him, he should be on the list by now. He really.
Oh, he will be, and he will be.
And here's the reason why I picked him, because last time my 3 picks last time, which I'm honest with you, 99% of my vinyl collection is blues rock, or something adjacent to it. And I hated Bob Dylan. I think the last time I was here, we've talked about it before, I hated Bob Dylan growing up. Couldn't stand his voice, couldn't get into him, but I loved the blues. And I also listened to a lot of country music, being in South Georgia. But we didn't hear the blues music that I wanted to listen to, because during my time when on the radio, I had to seek it out. Because on the radio they were playing Eric Clapton, In My Father's Eyes, and I cannot stand that song. I do not like Eric Clapton, 80s Eric Clapton. But Bob Dylan is not a blues singer per se, but he is a blues man. He is he seeks out blues. He was a man that I don't want to talk about him like he's dead, because he's still very much alive. But he loved blues music. He consumed blues music, and John Hammond, who signed him, gave him Robert Johnson's album, a Delta blues singer. And Bob actually said that when he first heard this, he was mesmerized by the cover, and then when he placed the album on the turntable and heard the guitar strings for the first time, his exact words out of his biography was that the hair on the back of his neck stood up. And when he began to sing, he was possessed by the sound. His exact word was he was possessed by the sound, and he never looked back. Now he grew up listening to blues music and following after blues music, but he never heard of Robert Johnson. And this album had just come out, I think, at Columbia. And he listened to it over and over and over and over again. And what's interesting is that same album is on the cover right there. And this is Bob Dylan bringing it all back home. And you've got also another I can't remember the guy's name, but the folk blues of Eric something. Johannesson, I think, is his name. But iconic cover. I actually picked this up from Harry. Has the hype sticker on it. 1965 copy. It's a mono copy. But my three picks have a theme. Not only are they great musicians, great music, but they're interesting covers, and the covers all tell a story and evoke an emotion and attitude, and that's why I love. This is one of my favorite albums, and this is one of the first albums that I picked up, or not picked up, but started listening to when I fell in love with Bob. And one of the reasons why is because one of my favorite blues guys plays on this album with Bob. It's John Hammond's son, John Hammond Jr., who is probably one of the blackest, whitest blues guys that has ever lived. And he plays guitar on this. And just a fantastic cover artwork of pictures on the back. And also, this is when Bob started writing his weird essays on the back of the cover. I've read this hundreds of times. I really still have no idea what Bob's talking about in this. It's just weird. I don't know if you've ever. I don't know if you guys.
He probably did that on purpose.
Have y'all ever read this?
I don't think I've ever. I have the record. I don't think I've ever read this.
You need to read it. And this is what I love about albums, is because when I was growing up listening to CDs was king when I was coming up. And the print was so small, and it was so little, you didn't pay attention to it, you just played the CD. And this is just a fantastic album. This is the first album to incorporate. A lot of people say this is the first time that Bob started using electric. That's not true.
That's not true.
He started off with electric,
yeah,
and went to acoustic. Okay, but this is the first time he included electric guitars and backing musicians in his studio albums. But very different from his contemporary folk albums. And basically the first side is electric and the second side's mainly acoustic work. And the album reached number 6 on the Billboard chart for the first time. It's the first time his albums up to this point broke the top 10. So it's very, very instrumental album in his trajectory in his career. And also the first track, Subterranean Homesick Blues, killer song, has a killer video. It's like one of the first music videos ever released. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
See, y'all are missing out. He's not on the list, and you haven't seen the video. Y'all got a lot of things to catch up on, I'm telling you. And
we got a long way to go, Joe.
Got a long way to go. It's been described as one of the greatest albums of all time. It was ranked on, see, this is one of the reasons why I don't like lists. In 2003, Rolling Stone, it was number 31. All right. 2020, it dropped down to 181. So it's not on your list, and it's not on the Rolling Stones list. Okay. So, but in 1986, John Hughes, the director of what movies, Jake? I know you always like to do this.
Oh gosh, Breakfast Club,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Planes,
Trains, and Automobiles.
Did he do Uncle Buck?
Yeah, Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck's one of my wife's favorite movies. Listen to what John Hughes says about this album that y'all refuse to put on your list. Okay, y'all listening?
See, he says the word refuse.
It's on the list
for last.
Listen.
It's on the list, Joe Willie.
John says he cited that the album was so influential on him that while he was in his teens when this came out, he says, Thursday I was one person and Friday I was another. You don't say that about a Bruce Hornsby album. I can go ahead and tell you that. Do you know what? Just to prove to you that Bob Dylan is a blues guy. You know what his first gig was in New York?
Street Watcher.
Do you know who he opened for?
B.B. King.
He opened for Mr. John Lee Hooker himself. And John Lee Hooker said that Bob didn't play with him. He got to play with him. And he was mesmerized by John Lee Hooker. He could not get his eyes off of him. But fantastic album. Some killer tracks on here. Blues tracks. It's laden with blues tracks. It's one of my favorite albums, but the one I don't skip any songs on an album. But there's one song I have to turn down, or I have to wait till my wife's not here, and that's Maggie's Farm. She cannot stand that song.
That's one of my favorite Dylan songs.
And it's a great track. And this is one where he moves away from the folk and just the easy to understand or easy to comprehend lyrics. This is where he really dives into his lyrical work and starts him on the path to Highway 61, Blonde on Blonde, and gets him eventually to the Nobel Peace Prize.
I still think Freewheelin' takes them all.
Yeah, you should have put it on the list before this one.
Planet Waves, damn good too.
Well, Joe,
that's my first one.
He's putting 47 Beatles records.
Well,
Yeah,
Joe, it's on the list now.
Yeah, it's on the list now.
You've righted the wrong.
Oh, and here's the other thing, Mr. Sean. This was one of your essentials. His
Okay.
first recording session, he played harmonica for Guess Who? It was one of your picks for the 500. Mr. Harry Belafonte.
That's what
Harry.
I was going to say. Yeah, I was like, what had it was
Harry.
New York, it had to be
Mr. Harry
Belafonte.
If this ain't in your collection, you need to get it. Fantastic cover. The picture tells a story. I mean, there's people that's way smarter than me that dives into the picture.
I'm gonna get
and also
two.
the lyrics of the songs themselves. So, and I'll say this: if you're gonna get it on LP, get the mono. The mono's fantastic.
Yeah, I tell people too, don't sleep on 70s Dylan either, because there's some good stuff. Not just the 60s stuff, not just when he went electric. I mean, I still think to this day, Free Willin's probably his all-time best. I'll tell you what, Joe, what artist, I'll give you a little quick trivia. What artist went to Columbia because of Bob Dylan?
I don't know.
That would be the one and only Billy Joel that you haven't listened to.
That's why I wouldn't know it. That's definitely why I wouldn't
Billy
know
Joel, because Billy Joel stated that, hey, if Bob Dylan, who was, and you hit it, you kind of touched base on it without like really saying it, but Bob Dylan wasn't really known of selling millions upon millions of records.
No.
But what he was consistent. And Billy Joel kind of saw, well, look, I mean, if Bob Dylan is able to go out there and put this great music together, but he's not necessarily selling millions upon millions and they're sticking with him, this is a label I want to be a part of.
Right. Yeah.
So,
All right, who's up next? We back to
it would be Scott.
back to Scott.
Okay, so every week I try to pull in something off the beaten path a little bit. So we're going to go back to country. We don't have a ton of country on the list, and so I was thinking, like, what are some of my all-time favorite country records? And we're going to go Mary-Chapin Carpenter. Come on, come on. I have to admit, after about 3-4 years of grunge, that was enough for me. Thematically, grunge fits into like skinny jeans, put it that way. There's not a lot of broad themes going on there, and mostly depressing. That's the way I saw grunge. So I ventured out a little bit more, and I think at that time country was, advancing a little bit. You had little elements of Heartland rock, and with Mary-Chapin Carpenter, she's a girl here from Northern Virginia, grew up in the D.C. area, really a folk singer who, if you're going to make a living in 1990, you had to modify yourself a little bit to fit into the Nashville scene. But when you listen to her music, I hear elements of country, but I hear a lot of Americana, and I definitely hear folk. She said she grew up listening to the Beatles and Judy Collins and stuff like that. So I think it's an artist. And now that she's independent, she's more folky than this record. This record is so terrific. If we're a country female singer who's not named Shania Twain, to sell 5 million copies worldwide, that's pretty good. 4 million in the U.S. And this album has some amazing songs, amazing hits. So she was just coming off before she did this album. She had her first taste of, I would say indication that she was going to be something big. Is she had the song "Down at the Twist and Shout," which had a Cajun, Louisiana feel to it. Very popular song. She won a Grammy that year. She came back with this record, and this record just, to me, it's one of the best country records ever. So it has "I Feel Lucky." That was a number 4 country song. Passionate Kisses. Just I have to tell a little story about Passionate Kisses. So my wife, this is back in the 90s, and she was going somewhere and she came back and she got a ticket, and I was like, well, why were you going that fast? And she goes, I couldn't help it. Passionate Kisses was playing on the radio. So my wife actually used Passionate Kisses as an excuse for why she got a speeding ticket one time. He thinks he'll keep her. There's a cover of the Dire Straits song "The Bug," and she does an excellent cover of it. Like I think I might like her version a little bit better. And when I look at this has got what I would say 6 excellent songs on it. So if you're not familiar with this record, don't thumb your nose at country. I don't think you should thumb your nose at any genre. Go listen to it. Listen to it with an open mind. And I really believe this is one of the greatest country records ever done. Mary-Chapin Carpenter. Come on.
You couldn't get away from her on the radio down here.
Yeah, when she was big, she was big.
Her songs played all the time.
Yeah.
Who played with her on that album? Mr. Joe Diffie.
Joe Diffie.
Yeah,
Joe Diffie, pickup man. I mean, he was a great guy. The other 2 guys that impressed me, I had no idea after I heard you was going to pick this one, was Paul Franklin. Mm-hmm. He plays with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, Paul Franklin's been around a long time in Nashville. Paul Franklin plays on
He's played on over 500 albums.
Yeah, like you pick it up and look at the credits, Paul Franklin's in there a lot of times.
And he invented a handful of instruments.
And I want to give a shout out too, because she did do some writing on this, but in country music, a lot of times there's songwriters produce these things. On Passionate Kisses, that's a oh my God, I'm forgetting her name, but the lady, she wrote that song, Gretchen Peters. Gretchen Peters wrote that song, and she also wrote the Martina McBride hit Independence Day. Gretchen Peters was a big time, like she wrote quality songs. So didn't quite have the voice to be a star herself, but anyway, I really love that record. I just got this recently. It was for a lot of these 90s country records aren't on vinyl, and I was excited to get it. It's Plum. And it was great to revisit this record, haven't listened to it in a while, and it did, because I wondered, would it hold up before I put it on the list? I said, no, that's a damn good record. It's on the list. It's amazing.
All right. Yeah, I will be getting that one. It's been on my radar for a while because I did love it back then, and I still love it. So that's one I'll be looking for. So I'm up next, I guess. All right. So the first time I heard the title track of this song I think it was out before that, but this was a major event on MTV. It probably brought MTV from music video station to its pinnacle. December 2nd, 1983. It was a Friday night. Because I didn't have cable, so I know we went to our cousin's house. I don't know why. I think it was to see this video. It was hyped up. The music video cost over $400,000 to make. Everyone sat around and watched the 14-minute version of Thriller, directed by John Landis, who we know from Animal House and others. This was produced by Quincy Jones.
I think my memory of Michael is watching him moonwalk on Soul Train. First time I saw that on TV, I was blown away.
So this is obviously the best-selling album. We're probably over 50 million copies probably by now. It's just it definitely this isn't a surprise that it's on the album in our 500 because it definitely deserves to be there. You had McCartney's on this, The Girl Is Mine, Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, PYT. Just all the songs were amazing.
There's
And
like 8 singles off of that, weren't there? Or
Yeah.
something crazy.
yeah. And again, when's the last time you all sat around to watch a music video? I mean, I know the Taylor Swift fans have done it but to this degree, this was totally off the charts. This is the MTV never paid to produce music videos. This was the one exception. Between Showtime, because the record label's like, we're not spending the money on that music video. So Showtime picked up half the tab, and also MTV picked up half the tab to make that video.
So
that's
good too.
But that's another reason why it was such a huge announcement, and it was a big to do. And they also made a documentary on making the video to pay for the video. So that's how we got it. And again, I remember the day and where I was when I first saw that video. Definitely one of the great. It is the greatest selling album of all time. And the copy you're looking for, guys, not that it's much more valuable, the one without the Michael Jackson credit on the back. That was the true first press. Not expensive, but it's the true first press when Michael doesn't get producer credits. So look for that.
Eddie Van Halen's on that too.
Yes, he is. And Vincent Price.
So there's a whole list. You look at the credit list and it looks like a movie.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that brought MTV to the next level of stardom. And of course, now MTV is basically dead now. But we went from this to wherever it is now.
Yeah, Steve Lukather's all over that record too.
He is.
Played a lot of the rhythm. Matter of fact, he played all the rhythm part for Beat It. And Eddie is just the solo.
The solo, yep.
There you go.
In what band, Scott?
Toto.
Toto.
What do we got?
And what genre?
That's R&B.
So
that's one of the greatest R&B records ever.
Technically, a little bit of Thriller could be kind of a yacht rock. I mean, there's no Michael McDonald on Thriller, so I guess you can't classify it. Well, I guess I'm up. This is a huge record for me. In college, I played this thing on repeat. Loved it. Had a great conversation with Scott about it, to the point where he's like, yeah, I heard that record when it came out. Yeah, it's crap. And I'm like, Scott, I urge you to listen to that record again in a new unit of time, because it is not crap. It is a damn good record. It's got 4 hits on it. I'm telling you, you will enjoy it. And this is really, in my opinion, one of the last you're kind of getting towards, you're at the height of Britpop in 1997. And I put this album right up there with one of my favorite bands, Oasis. And that would be the Verve Urban Hymns. Came out September 29th, 1997, with a running length of 75 minutes and 57 seconds long on the Hut Virgin Records label. Producers were the Verve, Chris Potter, and sold fairly well in the U.S. Did over 1.3 million copies. Peaked at number 23 in the Billboard 200. Sold well over 3 million copies in the UK. Worldwide sales, this album did over 10 mil. And it's just got just such a unique sound to it. Like, I almost feel like in some ways Coldplay was kind of an extension of this album. If you really listen to some of their earlier stuff, I feel like Richard Ashcroft and the Verve kind of really started that kind of just airy, Brit pop kind of sound in the late 90s. Songs that we all know on here: Bittersweet Symphony, which was obviously a worldwide hit. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards thought otherwise. sued the band, which really stinks. But another hit, The Drugs Don't Work, Lucky Man, and Sonnet, which was a later single release. For the longest time, I did not know, but this was actually their third release. For the longest time, I thought it was their one and only record, but they had 2 albums prior to. And they broke up really not long after the album. They went on tour and eventually kind of. Terry goes, sorry, Jake, never heard of them. Terry, if you haven't, brother, you should really give it a listen. It's a wonderful record. I think Richard Ashcroft is a great singer, great lyricist. He's one hell of a front man. I mean, Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher, their nickname for him is Captain Rock. They love Richard Ashcroft. And in fact, he toured briefly, I think, in the UK shows. He actually came out and opened up for Oasis when they had their early shows in London. Now, he didn't come to the U.S., which I would have loved to have seen him out there. But and he's done some solo stuff since after the breakup. But I really would have loved to have seen what the Verve could have done, with another album or two, because this one was just so good. Let's see, as far as awards go. I know they won a Britpop award. They did. So they got a Britpop award for Best Album. Bittersweet Symphony was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Song. And it is ranked among top albums in retrospective polls and decade lists. So, Joe, I know damn well you've never listened to this. I actually think you probably would dig it, man. I mean, I know you're a blues guy, but I think if you give it a listen, the songs blend really well together. It's kind of like a journey, if you will.
As usual, you're wrong.
You have listened to it.
I have listened to it. It came out in 97?
Well, we're close to the same age, right?
I was a sophomore in high school, and I heard the songs. I heard the singles on the radio. I did not own the CD, but I did hear the songs on the radio. But what made me smile when I was kind of listening to the album, recognized a few of the songs, and then reading about the band, because I didn't know anything about the band, to be honest with you. I know the name and knew the songs after I heard them, but I didn't realize that you talking about breaking up. They broke up several times. Yeah, multiple times.
Several times.
They said they toured in America and it almost killed them. Like they just like drugs and rock and roll.
They broke up. I mean, they broke up during a tour, and I think while they were like in the midst of a tour, and I think Richard Ashcroft went camping. Like they went to try to find him for comment, and he was camping somewhere.
And then the hidden track, I completely forgot about like hidden tracks on CDs. That album had a hidden track on the CD version.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So that
I bought it. I bought it the day it came out.
I remember that being a thing. You thought that was pretty cool that you had a hidden track on the CD.
Well, on Nevermind, Nirvana Nevermind, I remember that track, right? Yeah. That was, what was it? Endless Nameless? Was that the name of it?
Yeah. I hated that hidden track stuff. The CD would play and it would sit there, and then like 10 minutes later, something started coming out of the speakers again. You're like, what the heck is that?
That was what's awesome about it. That's what I loved about it. Is you just sit there and you forget. You think, oh yeah, hey, the CD, it's still running. And then,
I do want to defend myself here. First I'll acknowledge I was wrong, and I told Jake today. I said I was mixing the Verve up with the Verve Pipe.
The Verve Pipe.
I did go back and look at that Verve Pipe album that has the Freshman on it, and I did listen to it. I was like, oh man, that's a terrible record. That's what I mixed it up with. When I listened to this, I thought it sounded a lot like Oasis, and
it is Britpop, so I mean, I could see that.
Yeah, and it's something about those Britpop people; they can't get along very well. I don't know if it's the music that drives them crazy or what.
I think a lot of it obviously was.
They're angry, very angry.
Like Richard Ashcroft also was, a little edgy as well, but you got the Gallagher brothers on top of that. But if you listen to Urban Hymns and you listen to Coldplay Parachutes, Like for me, when I've listened to those two albums, like I kind of pick up on similarities here and
Yeah, and
there.
Blur. I think of all those groups kind of together. You know, Blur couldn't stay together either. So
See, and I was not a you got a Beatles or Stones, right? Or it was Oasis or Blur. I was an Oasis guy. I never liked Blur. Loved Oasis, loved the Verve. Never listened to Blur at all, ever.
yeah. They're not bad. They're not. I don't really. They're not my cup of tea. But kudos to Jake, and that's what you should do. I encourage everybody not to be dismissive. Like if you go listen to it, critically listen to it, and you say you don't like it, more power to you. Like not every type of music or an album is going to strike your heart, but there's a lot of satisfaction in that discovery of you don't need a new release sometimes to come out to get excited about music. Maybe discovering something that you never knew existed it's the same feeling for me. Like, oh wow, I didn't know. And listening to that record, I was like, I just missed this record. I have the CD, but I must have not have gave it a fair chance. So it's a good record.
There are a few of those, and I know it's not. I talked about it, and we probably won't put it on the essential, but I just want to say it because I don't want to forget it because I will. But I encourage. It's a Totals '90s kind of acoustic rock record. But you should listen to Dog's Eye View, Happy Nowhere. I've always thought that was a great record. Joe, you should listen to that and give me your feedback. You might come back and be like, hey, I listened to it and it was a piece of crap.
I like
it's got one very excellent song on it though.
Dog's Eye View.
Dog's Eye View, Happy Nowhere. Lead singer's Peter Stewart. He did some stuff, he and Adam Duritz collaborated in a couple of things.
Happy Nowhere.
Happy Nowhere.
Happy Nowhere.
Oh yeah, but
the Rolling Stones didn't have a problem with them using the song. It was the manager.
Yeah,
was it the manager?
Because I think after the manager died, the Rolling Stones let him have.
He did. Yep. So that just recently happened. I think they gave.
And I watched a YouTube clip of that where they showed I think it was a bunch of crap. I mean, it was such a small piece.
It's very small. Yeah.
I'm like, come on, you took all the royalties because of that little similarity,
Well, I think they let them listen. They let them listen to the song.
Yeah, and they proved it. Jagger and Richards approved it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the manager came back and said, "No, we didn't approve you to be able to do all that after the." I don't know.
Yeah. And it just goes to show, right? So many artists out there, they all know, like, look, at the end of the day, I mean, there's only so many chords you can play, right? There's only so much you could do in music until everybody at some point in time is sampling something from someone.
Yes. And kudos to Ed Sheeran for demonstrating that in front of the whole world when he took his guitar to court and proved that there's not that many. I think that tamped down a lot of these bogus, and it's not often the artist that's doing it, it's the money people doing it. They're looking for, just like people filing fake copyrights, then somebody goes and do something, they say, oh, I got that copyright on that. That's all just people trying to make money
with Colin Hay and Men at Work.
Yeah.
With the whole little bleep, 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 that whole thing off of an old like Australian song, the flack they got from that, like it just stupid stuff.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah.
I cannot hear you. No volume.
Your lips are moving, but I can't hear what you're saying, Sean.
I'm going to go ahead.
I want to say it's Joe's turn.
There he is.
Oh, it's my turn?
Joe Willie.
Joe Willie. So we went from Bob Dylan, and now we're going to go to the godfather of blues. This dude is, revered amongst people like Bob. I mean, Bob is, to me, one of the most fascinating human beings, fascinating musicians, just a unique guy, and also at the same time being an enigma. But this next dude is, to me, when he's synonymous with when you think of blues, he's one of the first names that pops in your head. And, his nickname is Killer, Muddy Waters. His grandmother called him Muddy because he loved to play in the mud. and then his friends just come up with the last name Water. And then from what I read, and I don't know how true this is Alan Lomax in he went and like in the 40s and recorded Muddy, and he put the S on the end. That's what I read. Now I don't know if that's true or not. It makes for a good story, Muddy Waters. But I also like that the fact that he would change his name a lot, like the blues guys back in the day, trying to get on different records to get so they could earn more money because they weren't getting enough money from the record guys. But he would use a pseudonym, Dirty Rivers. I always thought that was pretty funny. But like I said, the Bob Dylan album and this next album cover, I love the covers, and to me, could I pick another Muddy Water album that, better shows you his true blues sound? Probably yes. But I have to say this is probably the best cover of a Muddy Waters album that's out there. And this is the second album. His first album that he released on Cadet Concept on the Chess label with, I think it was Marshall Chess is his name. I think it's Leonard was the dad, I think, right? And then Marshall's the son. I believe that's correct. Well, Marshall went out on his own and kind of created a sub-label, Cadet Concept, and come up with this like psychedelic side because
I know what you're coming with.
During the mid 60s, the mid to late 60s, the psychedelic, was hitting its stride, and they came out with this album, Electric Mud, and Muddy absolutely hated it. He said it was dog shit. His exact words was it's dog shit. And they had a killer lineup because it was the Rotary Connection, had Phil Upchurch, Pete Cozy, I think is his name. Just killer band. And yeah, that's Electric Mud. That's not the one I'm about to show, but that's a killer album. Got great photos in the cover, and if you can find one, which I've got two of them. I was lucky enough to get the little photo booklet with it. Killer lineup, but it was real heavy psychedelic. And I enjoy it. It has it. It has a cult following. I think they sold like hotcakes. One of the best selling albums he ever had. Like they sold like 150,000 copies immediately, and it came out in '68. Yep. And then they started coming back in because people could not believe. They said, "There's no way that's Muddy. That's not. I want a Muddy Waters album. That's not Muddy. That's some kind of psychedelic crap." And but this album that I'm about to show came out 6 months later, okay, and it's After the Rain. Check out this album cover.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got Muddy Waters covered in mud holding a frog. Okay, and I can't remember the artist that took the picture, Victor Skrabinski. I'm probably murdering that guy's name. I'm sorry, sir. But I asked Marshall, he said, do you think Muddy would let me cover him in mud? And he said, well, all you can do is ask him. But yeah, the front, and then you got the back of him covered in mud. They dumped a bucket of mud all over him and gave him a frog, and Muddy was all right with it. He was cool with it because as much as he hated Electric Mud, it actually revitalized his career. Mm-hmm. And then with this album, he said, I'll make another album, but he says, I want more control, and I want more control of the sound, and also I want control of the personnel. And one of the key guys that's always with Muddy, and one of my favorite blues guys, and the one that I omitted to put Bob in because Bob had to be in the list, I omitted this guy, was Otis Spann, his piano player. But you've got Phil Upchurch on guitar, killer guitarist. Floyd, he's a jazz guitarist, but this dude is funky and he's underrated. I know y'all, like you talk about how great Robin Trower is. You need to listen to Phil. Phil or Philip Upchurch, Mr. Morris Jennings on drums, Lewis Satterfield on bass, Pete Cozy. Pete, you like Jimi Hendrix? You need to listen to Pete. Charles Stepney on organ, and Paul Osher on harmonica. And this is just a fantastic album, guys. I mean, I can't talk higher about it, but just got killer songs. I mean, you got "I Am the Blues," which is a Willie Dixon song, which Willie Dixon, wrote. He wrote probably every blues song that's ever been around. And he was just feeding Howlin' Wolf and Muddy, songs. And then you got "Ramblin' Mind," which is a Muddy song. "Rollin' and Tumblin'," another Muddy song. "Bottom of the Sea," another Muddy song. You get the idea here. I mean, it's just one thing after the other. The Electric Mud he had less control over it. You got "Honeybee" on the second side. "Blues and Trouble," "Hurtin' Soul," "Screamin' and Crying" is the last song on track 2, and that's a killer song. And the drums, I mean, the dude he's like he's beating down your door, and just great licks. If you guys have never listened to this album, you need to. If you like Electric Mud, if you like blues, if you like psych, you'll like Electric Mud. But if you want to really hear some blues infused psychedelic, this is it. And to me, this is one of my favorite Muddy albums. And also, it's got that killer cover.
Well, Joe,
do you like it better than Electric Mud?
I do like it better than Electric Mud.
You do?
Because it's more authentic to Muddy sound.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you, I was packing up my show from last night this morning, and I put it on, and this is my first time listening to this record. So I was packing, and a song came on, and it made me stop, and I walked over to see what is the name of that song, and it was "Rollin' and Tumblin'."
That's killer.
That
killer
song was just killer.
It's got some funky licks on it, man. And I think Muddy was not Muddy's. I mean, Muddy's a professional. I mean, this is not. I think this is like his. This came out in '69. I think this is like his 5th studio album. But I mean, the dude's been singing since the '40s. But he was not very enthusiastic with Electric Mud. But with this. And plus them playing again, creating the first album and creating this one, I think they got more cohesion, and it's just killer, just a killer. Album.
Yeah. So thank you for that. That was exactly what I'm talking about.
Hell of a pick, Joe.
Yeah,
that's a pick of the night right there.
Yeah. How easy to find it? That's the issue. It is easy. You can find them, but they're kind of an obscure title, and that's what I'm hoping. This is on the Chess label, and I'm hoping they dig into that Cadet. It's on this label. I'm sure y'all have seen it before.
And that's Analog Productions it's doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know,
but I hope they dive into this Cadet concept label, because it's got some killer titles on it.
Yeah.
But I would say, I've the ones that I've purchased, and I think I've got 2. The ones that I've purchased, it's all been online. I've never seen any in person.
All right, who's up next?
Have we all done 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Scott.
Oh,
Yeah, back to Scott. Yep.
okay. All right. Tonight we're getting a couple what I call no-brainers. I mean, if nobody's going to be surprised that Sean held up Thriller, right? Like, I mean, that's pretty obvious. That's going to be in the 500. And I think we got another one. I got one that fits in that vein. Prince, Purple Rain. I mean, to me, I don't think he ever got close to this. There's a lot of people that love Sign of the Times. A lot of the Prince fans, that's his best record. No, this is his best record. So what is the sales on this? 25 million worldwide, 13 plus million in the US. Some people might consider this as a soundtrack. I consider that movie like a video for this album, because I think the album is so much better than the movie was, and the movie was kind of lame.
I've never seen it.
You're not missing a lot.
But for me, what I was listening to at this point, like this was a little unusual, but I loved this record when it came out. So everybody knows the songs: "When Doves Cry," "Let's Go Crazy," and then Purple Rain. I heard an interesting story this week about Purple Rain. That Prince had actually went. He was playing a smaller venue in town in Detroit, and he went to see Bob Seger play at the arena, and he saw all these fans like singing along and this huge audience, and he told his manager, like, how do I get that? He goes, well, you got to write some big ballady like sing-along songs, and as far as the stories goes, that's what inspired the song Purple Rain. Was
Bob Seger.
Yeah, Bob Seger. He wanted to have a song like that, and he certainly got it. And I think on this record, probably up to this point, even though 1999 had some good guitar moments, you didn't really think too much of Prince as a guitarist, more as just an artist. But if you listen to this record very closely and you just listen to the guitar, this is where he starts showing he has some chops on guitar, and in particular, Purple Rain is amazing. He also had the distinction of bringing to us, those of us that lived through it, the whole Tipper Gore era. Vice President Gore's wife at the time, they had bought their daughter this record, and she was cruising around the house and heard her listening to Darlin' Nikki.
Yeah, Darlin' Nikki.
Yeah. Depending on your perspective, Darlin' Nikki is a pretty explicit song, and
I'm not reading those lyrics.
Yeah, we won't read them out loud. But a lot of people like that song, and that was kind of taking a chance, being risque, and I think it was part of, just like Madonna was trying to portray a certain image as she was coming. I think Prince was trying to say, I'm dangerous. Don't trust your children around me. But it did lead to that whole craziness of parental warning stickers on records. And I think of all the things we need to worry about in life, I don't think artist expression on a record is something that you need to worry about. We let our kids play these video games where they're blowing each other's heads off. We don't care about that. But no, talk sex in a song, can't have that. So I didn't want to go on and on about this record because I'm sure everybody watching knows this record, might even have this record. But by gosh, it had to be on the list. I consider it a masterpiece, and still listen to it to this day.
Hey, well, probably one of the best records of all time. It's up on that list.
Yeah, it is. It's really great.
Fantastic guitar player. Probably one of, and not just guitar player. He could play anything.
He could do everything.
Yeah.
He could play anything. And
I still love his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame solo of While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best Super Bowl halftime shows too.
Yeah, he had a great Super Bowl halftime show.
I cut you off, Joe. Go ahead and say what you were saying, brother.
No, I was just saying, like, I've listened to the album. I don't own it in my collection, but I've listened to the album. Never seen the movie, but I've listened to the album and really listened to it this week, or I say this week, the last couple of days, listened to it. And I didn't realize at the end of that Darling Nikki that there was it was like in reverse. It was jumbled words. But
yeah, I think he was baiting. He was baiting people to say, there's something dangerous in that.
About Nikki grinding and all this stuff. And then the end of the song, it's like it's jumbled. I thought it was just jumbled words. I didn't know what it was, but it's actually a message in reverse.
Yeah.
And it says, talking about the Lord's coming soon, coming soon.
Yeah, it's hello, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm fine, because I don't know, it's backwards. I know that the Lord is coming soon, coming soon.
But yeah, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
very, very interesting. He's another one of those very interesting people.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting people. Some might say weird, but I mean, he's a very interesting guy.
Unique.
Very unique. Very unique. But
Very unique.
extremely. I mean, dude was loaded with talent.
I just think the guy was a genius. A lot of those,
Oh yeah, he was absolutely a genius.
with that intelligence, I think, are you going to probably have a screw or two loose? Maybe.
Yeah,
but
absolutely genius.
Yeah, but
unbelievable.
when he was definitely kind of weird too, because or at least socially awkward, because every famous person that talks about meeting him, it's a weird story.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like
I mean,
when Jimmy
every
Fallon played
genius is
ping
weird.
pong with
Yeah,
him.
you got to hear the
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon ping pong story.
I heard that.
It's-
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a common theme with geniuses, is that they're usually weird, you know.
They're
But the
just very
dude,
unique.
I had no idea up in, you know, till kind of not, I wouldn't say like recent, but you know, in the last few years, I had no idea how talented he was because of YouTube, seeing the videos of him, you know, playing the piano, playing the keyboards, playing the drums. I mean, just ripping the guitar. I mean, he could do anything, absolutely anything.
Oh yeah. All right, I think I'm up next,
You are.
and I don't have the record with me today because I sell it every time I get a copy. Someone asks for it, I grab them my copy and I sell them my copy. This may be one of the greatest records of all time. This came out 6 days before
1971.
70.
I believe it's 71.
Is it 6? I thought it was 73. Is it 70? Yeah, it's 71. I know it's 71. What's going on? There was a documentary called 71 that's in. This is right after a very rocky period of Marvin Gaye's life, dealing with the death of Tammy Terrell. 3 years before that, she had a collapse on stage with a brain tumor, and she died a few years later. He tried to commit suicide. Divorces from Barry Gordy's sister, divorced there. So he had all these. He was at a state in his life that he really just was falling apart. This album definitely changed his career. This is a lot of social, political commentary. It's something that Motown really tried to avoid doing at all with their artists, to keep it political free and all that. But this is definitely a social commentary on Vietnam War, police brutality, the social conditions, inequality. What's going on was written by Obie Benson, who was a member of the Four Tops, and they kind of passed on that record. And Obie they were driving by Berkeley, watching the way the police were treating the anti-war protesters, and that's where that song came about. Also, basically it's a story of a Vietnam vet coming home. Marvin Gaye's brother Frankie was in Vietnam, and he added some stuff from that experience from his brother being there. But it's a social commentary coming back from a war, and just not being accepted. And this song, I just lost my list because I was looking up those Darling Nikki lyrics. It appeared in the Billboard chart for 61 weeks and was Motown's best-selling soul album of 1973. So that's why I kind of got the I think the album came out in 73. The song came out in 71, maybe. Yeah, the song came out first because Barry Gordy didn't really think it was going to do anything. Then it just hit, so they did an album shortly after that. So the album itself came out in 73, 6 days before I was born. It was playing the chart for 61 weeks. Chart peaked number 2 Billboard, number 1 on the Cashbox and Billboard Soul album for 11 weeks. Let's Get It On was the Billboard Hot 100. Come Get This was number 30. But it's definitely something you should have in your collection, and it's amazing just that what's going on. Just that Joe was talking about, some of the times the best things in albums are those accidents that they didn't plan on happening. The intro to What's Going On, when you have the horns playing at the beginning, that was just the guy warming up. Eddie Fontaine, he was just warming up, and Marvin's like, I liked it. That sounded good, and that became part of the album. It wasn't meant to. It was an accident, and it really makes the start of the song, just makes it that much better. So that's my pick.
Yeah, another one that I think, it's obvious that record is going to be on the list. A lot of lists you look at, it's A lot of them it's number one. It's almost always in the top 5 or so of greatest records of all time. And this one I'm a big fan of R&B, and this one had some edge to it with the social commentary and kind of call to arms on the ecological front. Very interesting record, and it's certainly one that everybody should. If you don't own it, you should own it, but at least give it a listen. It is one of the greatest records ever.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Jake, you are up next.
So the last record I'm going to preview this evening probably wins the award for worst hairdo, but this was his best-selling album. This was his 3rd solo effort, and it is Don Henley's.
Oh, because he looks like
End of the Innocence. He
John
just
Travolta?
never.
No, he looks like
good with long hair.
McFly. He looks like McFly.
You're my destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my destiny. He kind of looks like Crispin Glover a little
Yeah.
bit, doesn't he?
And that with that haircut, yes.
He kind of does. Obviously, it goes with the times. June 27th, 1989 release. This was the last record he did on the Geffen label. He produced it. John Corey produced it. Joe Willie's favorite musician, Bruce Hornsby, was a producer. Mike Campbell, also a producer from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Did over 6 million copies in the U.S. and sold probably a few million more in the U.K. I don't have an exact number. Peaked at number 8 on the U.S. Billboard 200. And as far as the singles and chart positions, you've got End of the Innocence, the title track, obviously. Number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was number 1 album rock. It was a Grammy-winning single. The Last Worthless Evening was number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100. Heart of the Matter, number 21. And New York Minute, number 48. So he basically had 4 songs within the top 50. And again, like I said, it was his most successful solo album. Some crazy things about it, man, is that The End of the Innocence was co-written by Bruce Hornsby, Joe's favorite artist. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this on this show, but Joe secretly does love Bruce. And it
sounds great.
One of Henley's,
always sounds the same. He sounds great.
Consistent.
Hey,
consistent.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And it obviously, oddly enough, became one of his signature songs. But the one that's really kind of nuts is the backing vocals of Axl Rose in the song "I Will Not Go Quietly." Axl Rose is doing backing vocals on a Don Henley solo record.
I bet Axl couldn't hit any of those notes he hit on that, because he is way up there on "I Will Not Go Quietly."
But he did win the title track did win a Grammy Award for Best Male Rock Vocal Performance. It was nominated in major categories. I think in 2012, so we have had some years, but it was number 389 on the top 500 essential list. So it is, up there, probably one of the more essentials. I originally thought when I first heard the song when I was a kid, I actually thought it was a Bruce Hornsby song with Don Henley just singing it. But
it kind of is.
It is, right? You hear the piano. You hear the piano. You just can't mistake the Hornsby sound, which a lot of the times in his songs, as we all know, the very start of the songs are always going to start out with, a nice 30-second to minute piano solo, and then the range just comes in and we go into it, But yeah, I kind of went quick on this one because I needed to get a pick 3 and I kept fumbling about. And when I did Hornsby, I had to get Henley on here because of that song.
You might as well. I mean, they're interchangeable.
All right, come on now. I mean, New York Minute, Last Worthless Evening. There's so many great songs on there. And,
It's
and
a
the
great album.
It's great titles, great song titles, great, concepts. Concepts. I mean, he's dealing with some serious concepts.
Yeah, he probably could have done another 2-3 million in sales if it weren't for the hair.
Or Axl being on the album.
Look,
That's
Joe, I'm going
strange
to use
shit.
the word unique. That is a unique choice of backing vocals. Who are we going to have? Don, who should we come in and get and sing this backing track? Let's get Axl Rose.
Let's think about it this way. Who was real hot at the time?
On the same label.
They're both on Geffen, so I think the record company probably had something to do with that. I don't see Don Henley and Axl Rose having a conversation
God,
together.
no.
But I just want to point out what a fortunate man. He's very talented. Don Henley is, but as a solo artist, right? He's got Mike Campbell comes in and basically hands him "Boys of Summer," which is one of the greatest rock songs ever.
Yep.
And Hornsby cannot get lyrics for Into the Innocent and comes and says, I can't do anything with this. Two of Henley's biggest solo hits actually were came to him in a meandering way,
I think people really, I don't think Mike Campbell gets a lot of credit for his producing abilities. He is a great producer. He's been on or been affiliated with some good records.
Yeah.
He's not just a guitarist, right? In Tom Petty's band. I mean, he's done some good stuff.
He's a serious guy. Joe?
No, I'm joking around. Bruce and Hornsby, Don Henley, great musicians, great sounds. Both albums sound great. Even though Bruce's albums, songs all sound the same to me. It's kind of like a Mexican restaurant. And when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I just I close my eyes and just point and pick, and just whatever I get, because it all tastes the same to me.
Joe, I'll finish your thought, then I'll chime in.
But Don Henley, this album with Don Henley, he's got some killer people on this. You got Sheryl Crow, sings on this. Melissa Etheridge sings on this, and what was the other? Jim Keltner plays drums on this.
Keltner's all over the place, man. That guy's played on everything.
Yeah.
Great drummer.
But I give a hard time about the produced sound because I'm not an '80s sound guy.
I was gonna say, it's an '80s.
I like raw, authentic sounds, and what I say authentic, I'll explain more when I get to Luther. But yeah.
See, Joe, that's why you and I agree. That's why we agree on Foo Fighters self-titled.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I'm with you on that too. There's a lot to say for.
I'm not going to agree with you, but I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you feel comfortable saying
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I'm not sure getting Joe. I'm not
comfortable?
sure Joe agreeing with you brings any more credibility to any argument you have, Jake.
It's only when you agree with Scott when you have credibility.
Right.
Exactly, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree with that either.
All right, so let's go to Joe. What is your album? What's your next album?
We got a theme. Not only my theme, but also the last album theme. Mr. Don, was it Don Henley or Bruce Hornsby? It was Don Henley, right?
Yeah.
It was
long hair, holding a cigarette. All these albums, like I said, the killer covers between the Bob Dylan, telling a story, showing emotion. The lady I can't remember. Is this Ginsberg's wife? I can't remember. But anyways, iconic photo. Just gives you an idea of what this album is going to be about. And then you get Muddy. To me, I would love this framed. I'd love a photo of this.
It already looks like a piece of art the way
it is.
It did frame it in
a crazy photo captured in time. I'm blown away that Muddy was willing to do this, But anyways, and this next album, so you got this guy that is, I'm a guy for nicknames. I love good nicknames. And this dude that's coming up is the Soul Fixin' Man. The Soul Fixin' Man, the Jimi Hendrix of blues guitar. And unfortunately, like we were talking prior to the show, he died young, lung cancer, 57 years old. This dude dropped out of high school to pursue music. He was in a gospel kind of a quartet or gospel group with some of his family members. Loved music, but he heard some blues. He heard some authentic, raw sounding music, and it captured him. I mean, it just drew him in. And he got him a guitar, learned how to play it, dropped out of school, and went to Chicago. Went to Chicago and hung out around the bars, got his big break in 1957 when none other than Mr. Wolf, Howlin' Wolf, brought him up on stage and allowed him to play with him. And that kind of set him off on his trajectory. And he played with so many killer guys, like Jimmy Dawkins was on the Delmark label. Freddie King took him under his wing, and when he actually took over Freddie's band. And also Shaky Jake Harris, fantastic harmonica player. Shaky Jake Harris, fantastic harmonica player. Magic Sam is also on the Delmark label. Fantastic sounding guys. He played with some of the best. And what I love about Bob was Bob consumed all different types of music, whether it be folk. I know people call him folk. I don't look at him as a folk artist. Bob took everything and molded it into himself, and a lot of people wanted him to stay in one lane, and when he didn't want to do that, they got mad. But I look at Bob as Bob and making his own type of unique sound, and it's heavily influenced by blues. And you hear, even though you might not like his voice, you hear that authentic. When he sings a song, he's not singing it from memory. He's singing it from his soul. And now I'm talking about Bob, but I'm also talking about Mr. Luther Allison. Check out this album. Luther Allison, Bad News Coming. Bad News Coming. His first album, I don't know, do y'all guys even read the things that Scott sends you? Sean, Jay, you do read them actually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they read them, Scott?
No.
No. They don't.
Now,
they read theirs.
If you were to say which one doesn't read all the time,
I don't read the other ones. I don't read theirs.
I'm just giving y'all a hard time. But this is not his debut album. This is his second album. His first album was on Delmark, and it was his Love Me Mama. Love Me Mama, I think it was the name of it. Let me see. I wrote it down. I don't have that one. I do have it. It's actually a European press or a press from Italy. It has a different cover. Love Me Mama, 1969. But this dude was signed in 1972 on the Gordy label. The only blues guy on the Gordy label. And just a killer. I mean, look at the photo. Look at that right there.
Yeah, that was my
don't mess with.
I did read the report, Joe, and that was going to be my comment. I was like, oh, I didn't know there were any blues people on that label.
Yeah.
But
And I didn't realize that till recently, and I don't think there was another one. Freddie King, like I said, is probably one of my favorite blues guitarists. But this guy plays with similar fashion. He was under Freddie's wing, but he plays with some serious intensity. Yeah. And not only that, his vocals are absolutely killer. I mean, you can hear the emotion, you can hear the pain, because like I said, these guys not just singing songs. They're not just singing songs to get put it on an album. They've lived through this crap, and you can hear it in their voice, like Little Red Rooster, which is a Willie Dixon song, Evil Is Going On, which is a Willie Dixon song, Ragged and Dirty, funky, great track. That is a Luther Allison song. Rock Me Baby is a B.B. King. Bad News Is Coming, the title track. I mean, just freaking killer song. Cut You Loose, and he ends the album with Elmore James' Dust My Broom, probably one of the greatest blues songs there is. And also I don't know if maybe I can stream it, but there's a CD version of this that has additional tracks on it with tracks from Freddie King and I think some other blues guys. But if you can find it, it's another tough one to find. Like I said, this week's are not necessarily ones that you can, other than the Bob Dylan, the Muddy and this one are not necessarily easy finds. They don't have, these are in need of reissue. definitely in need of reissue. This one and the Muddy as well. Good reissues. There's been a reissue of the Electric Mud, but some actual good reissues. But this, you guys, if you're wanting to get into some authentic blues, Luther Allison is one of the killer blues guys, and you'll really hear a raw, authentic sound that will cut you to your soul.
Now, Joe, this one, I absolutely love the guitar playing. I commented to you.
Right.
I didn't really know this. I was like, man, this dude reminds
Yeah.
me of Hendrix with some of the licks. Now, I did not like the songs as
Right.
well as the other four blues records you
Right.
presented, but love the
yeah.
guitar playing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I like the production value of good sounding singing and songs, but this dude really means what he's singing, and I'm really drawn to that.
All right, cool. So now we're running a little behind, but this is where we're gonna jump right into the top 5 Bob Seger songs.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You have
but
one-
first, we got to do.
What are we doing?
We got to do this.
Oh, we can do the promo for
Gotta do a little promotion for.
Oh yeah, tomorrow at 1:00 on Whatnot, our friends at D&D Collectibles is doing another show, and I know a lot of you. I saw a lot of you in that show, and make sure tomorrow at 1 p.m. Make sure you check in. They had some great titles. They had some great giveaways, and it was a fantastic show. And I can't wait to see their second show.
Definitely check out David and Wes. They've got some amazing stuff. Always love, when they're at the conventions. Always love going to their table and they've just got some great records, good prices.
And we should be clear about this. This is part of the community thing. We don't charge for these promotions. It's part of all of us had help along the way. And when you're starting out, you need some help. So we're just trying to help out some friends here. So they did have a killer first show. I bought a record for the first show. So check them out 1:00 on Friday. And we wish them luck. All right. So we're going to dive into Seger, and I think I can make up some time for Sean here, and I'll explain what I'm talking about.
Top 5 albums. Let's go, baby.
All right, Sean, you figure it out.
We'll see if Dev's album's on here.
Okay, that's one of the things I want to talk. Okay, first of all, I'm going to say for the first show, and is the first time in 13 episodes I have granted myself a waiver from the rules. That was a hard approval process. It was kind of like that scene from The Grinch, with Jim Carrey talking to himself. But I decided, no, this one absolutely deserves a waiver, and I will explain why. And I will also talk about there are no honorable mentions. We're just going to do 5. And I don't know how many albums Seger has. I didn't count it, but it's a lot of records. Way before, he really didn't gain ultra popularity till like his 8th or 9th record. A lot of, and it's one of the things I hate about the record collecting, record selling thing, is just because a record costs a lot of money doesn't mean the record's good. And a lot of those early Segers, you can't even get them on CD. If you can find them on album, they're very expensive. And some of them I had to go listen to on YouTube. They're not on streaming. I had to go dig into YouTube and found somebody, that uploaded it so I could listen to it. And every Seger record has a good song on it. Even when he's with the Last Herd, Bob Seger and the Last Herd, that album has a killer song called East Side Story. But as I went through them, I didn't think any of them were great records. So that's the setup for my exemption. At number 5, I went with Live Bullet. So why I thought that was necessary, everybody's going to say, well, what about Turn the Page? And what about, killer songs on albums that, in my opinion, were not great albums. They were interesting, but I didn't think they were great records. Live Bullet pretty much collects them up in one place. Turn the Pages on here. Get Out of Denver, Ramblin' Man. All that stuff is on this record, and this is one of the greatest live records ever recorded. It sounds fantastic, and I would say a lot of times you hear Turn the Page, you're hearing the live version on the radio. You're not hearing the studio version. So that explains my exemption, and I just felt like I didn't want to dismiss, but I took away all the honorable mentions because, well, we don't need them if we can put Live Bullet in there. All right. So Live Bullet. And then I went Night Moves. And I think a lot of people might think this is their favorite, but when I put a bunch of these records, and I got it down to like 7 records, serious consideration. And this one kind of moved back. I thought it would be a little higher, but 4 is pretty high. It is a good record. And obviously it had the mega hit Night Moves on it. And this is his second record with Silver Bullet Band. Beautiful Loser was before that, and you can kind of hear the Bob Seger sound coming in that song, Beautiful Loser. That was going to develop into the Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band sound. And I put The Distance in front of that because I love The Distance, primarily because I think each side is led off with an absolute killer track. Even Now and Roll Me Away, 2 of my favorite Dylan songs. It's got a typical, not Dylan, Seger songs. It's got a typical song by him, Shame on the Moon, which actually is a Rodney Crowell penned song, but it fits. I guess they needed that typical Seger slow tempo to mid tempo song. But I like the album cuts, like House Behind a House, Making, Thunderbirds. I just really enjoy this record, The Distance. All right, and we're going to go to 2 here, Against the Wind. I like 8 songs on this record. This might actually be my personal favorite, but I don't. When I'm doing this review, I don't think it might not be the best, but. The song Against the Wind and You'll Accompany Me is on here. Her Strut. What else is on here? Betty Lou's Getting Out Tonight. So he brings a little bit of that. He also was influenced by a Memphis sound too. He liked to do that sound. It's got a couple. The horizontal bop is kind of in that Memphis style too. And I really enjoy the record. It's the record that made me a Bob Seger fan. It's the first Bob Seger I ever owned was this record when it came out. And number 1, Stranger in Town. I think this is a masterpiece record. It's just so good. Hollywood Nights, again, that's a top 5 Seger for me. And yeah, it's got what's the big hit? We Got Tonight is on here, and just a really good record. Just if you look at this, and I always put this and Night Moves kind of together, but when you do that, when you lay track by track, and that's what I did on a notepad, I wrote track by track, and I just went down. I said, this ain't even close, and that's kind of what made Night Moves fall back some, because originally I thought they were going to be 1 and 2. I will say Stranger in Town, I think, is the much superior record, and the closest thing to it is Against the Wind. Both top notch. So that's the number 1. And somebody asked me top 5 Seger songs. Oh, Seger songs. Well, that would be hard, but definitely Hollywood Nights. Even Now and Roll Me Away would be in there, and then Night Moves, and probably Turn the Page.
I was going to say that. Turn the Page.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's off the top of my head, but I think that's pretty much right when I think about how much I like those songs. It's really, and this again, I'll get at the whole record collecting. That's not fine. It's fine to have collecting in your blood, and Jake recently picked up a record at the convention it's very hard to find. It's kind of pricey, and
Back in '72.
yeah, people get excited about getting it. And I think it's more from a collector standpoint because, in my opinion, it's not a great record. It's got a couple good songs on it, but it leaves this impression because you can go into streams and against the wind. Sometimes you can win it for $2 when Sean runs it for $1, and nobody buys these Seger records. And I'm thinking, I don't like that. I don't like that about selling records. That these Seger records are great records, and you should buy them.
I agree.
Yeah,
you should.
Yeah.
All right. So none of his solo albums, or you didn't consider solo albums?
I considered every record. No. I mean, I did. I listened to every. Like I said, some of this you can't even find on streaming service. Yeah, I had to go to YouTube to find somebody that, probably illegally uploaded it to listen to some of it. But people talk about like, oh, I'm looking for Smoking OPS, and I'd never listened to that record, and I went and listened to it. I said, this is just a bunch of cover songs. Like, why are people looking for that?
I like the
I just
cover.
recently,
Yeah,
I
cool.
just recently sold a sealed reissue of it, like a mid '70s sealed reissue.
Yeah, I like the cover.
Now, it was back in the '72 not repressed because he didn't like it? You think, or?
I don't know what's going on with those Seger records, why they're not getting repressed. I guess maybe some of the the company doesn't think it really is going to.
What's the label?
I'm not sure. He's on Capitol for his main career, but he had just moved to Capitol with Beautiful Loser. That was the first Capitol record, I think. If not, then Ramblin' Gamblin' Man was
back in '72's on Reprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, if it was going to do that well, they would have reissued it. I think people. I mean, to me, it's just he is finding his way. His first record, that Lost Heard record, that has some garage psych sound to it. I don't know if anybody's listened to it, but I was like, wow, this is different. Doesn't have any of the Memphis sound to it or all. Yeah. That didn't come till later.
This is one of the exceptions to the rules, Scott, right? Because his first three weren't his best.
Yeah, we had to get up to 7 or 8 or 9.
He was like several records in.
First three, which would be, what was his first three?
One of them was that Lost Heard, and he had a
Bob Seger sound system.
And he had a collection of songs. He had some singles that were pulled together in a comp that was before
and
even.
There was.
This is the Ramblin' Gamblin' Man.
No, that's like his fifth.
It says that's his first studio album by the Bob Seger System.
Yeah,
correct.
so you got Bob Seger, in the Lost Heard, you got Bob Seger System, then you got
Bob Seger System was what?
They had better covers.
Mongrel. A lot of people
that.
don't even think about Mongrel either.
And
the cover artwork's better on those. I can say that.
And he actually did his first solo record was I forget the name of it, but it's basically it's just him and a guitar. So it's a stripped down record. That was one of the last ones he did for Reprise, and then he went over to Capitol.
Yeah, I think his cover artwork got worse as he got older.
I like Against the Wind. I think that's one of my favorite covers.
Yeah, the one with the horses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like the ones with him just staring at you.
Yeah, he does a lot of that on his covers for Capitol. But I don't think I don't.
I mean, really, I know. You look at him like, okay,
he's just staring at you.
It's like forced high school photo.
Yeah, he did a lot of
it's
that.
Funny because a lot of people that listen to Bob Seger, a lot of them, I didn't really listen to Bob Seger, the earlier stuff until probably 5 years ago. I was more along the lines of all his hits from the late '70s into the early '80s.
Well, the Like a Rock song, man, that seemed like every time you turned the TV on, that was playing.
Yeah. And that's really on Like a Rock is not a very good record. That song's the best song on there. American Storm is okay. It's just weak songs on that. And that's why I said, I know a lot of people probably say, "Oh, where's Like a Rock?" I just encourage you to go listen to it. It's not as good as you probably remember.
Now,
That song is great. But
Bob Seger, would he be a great candidate for grabbing a greatest hits because he has some great songs and maybe not necessarily great albums?
I actually I would go a little different with him. I would grab both his live records, both Live Bullet and Nine Tonight, and then I'd grab like 4 of these. Like, I mean, you could start with the comp, but the comp is going to lose some of the actually, good songs on it. I don't think the comp has both Even Now and Roll Me Away on it. But yeah, if you want to explore it, the comp would be good. I think his live records, both those live records, sound amazing. And I know people want to go buy Back in '72, but I compared those 2 tracks. I listened to them back to back. Oh, the Live Bullet version, Silver Bullet Band gave him just a little tighter sound, I thought.
Yeah. It's crazy that Against the Wind was his 11th studio album.
Yeah.
No, Bob's great. He had a great sound, great singing voice.
Great voice, man.
Great voice. Great tunes. Like I said, I don't think I've listened to all of his albums, but like I said, I would be, if I was going to grab something, I would grab a greatest hits.
Yeah. Well, he's got there's the ultimate, there's this, the ultimate hits. I think it's only on CD, but that's a 2 CD collection. That's a pretty good collection of Bob Seger.
I think I have that. He's riding a motorcycle. Well, not him. There's some dude riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So who's on the show? This is usually where Sean invites you to ask any questions you want to ask. Somebody's asked a question. Who's on the show next week? Well, who's bold enough to follow Joe Williamson? There's only one guy, and that guy can't even live in the country. That's how big Joe is. So coming back next week, we got Johnny from Channel 910. I know he's excited. He already submitted his 3 records like 2 weeks ago, and he's killing it on his YouTube channel. I just watched his Vinyl Tag 2026 video this morning. Did a really good job.
Yeah, I'm going to do mine once I get my new computer set up. That's going to be what I try.
I'm going to do that. That obviously takes some time. There's a lot of in-depth questions, like multiple choice questions there.
There's a Beatles tag.
I'll probably pass on that one. Maybe Jake will do that.
I can't do a Beatles tag. Yeah.
Yeah. But Joe, you got a
missing out
in that video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we have Johnny, and then we have a first-time guest the following week after Johnny's on. We have Tom, the Toothpaste King, is going to join us. So that's
where has this world gone?
Yeah.
Where has this world gone to? Bringing in Toothpaste King Tom.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I think him and Joe are good compliments because they are definitely two of the sassiest people in chat on Whatnot. Is Joe Williamson?
You got to have a good time, man. When people get on Whatnot, they're like they're so serious, It's like I go on there to have a good time, even if I'm not buying anything.
Nah.
You got to have a good time. You got to laugh. You can't be so serious on there.
That's true.
But I think next time Joe's on, I'm going to have him just present my records. He's just going to present them all.
Well, I mean, I like participating. I like actually seeing what y'all are picking and listening to it beforehand.
Yeah.
And then making comments like Supertramp and Weezer got on before Marvin Gaye and Bob Dylan.
Again,
there's no order necessary. It's all random orders, Joe.
We saved it for you. We saved it.
Weezer not being on it. Well, here's the thing. I think
I'm not saying Weezer's not supposed to be on the list, but it got on there before Marvin Gaye.
Well, that could probably be a valid argument for that, but it is a group decision. But we're not going in order. Like we're not pulling our favorite. We try to throw in like there's a staple every week. If you watch, everybody presents one staple that everybody goes, "Oh, of course that's on the record." We want to downplay those records, but we also want to spread them out a little bit so at the end of the 500 isn't all these records that nobody's heard of.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, it's not easy for me. That's why I pick themes. Like I picked the theme last time, and I picked the theme this time because I mean, it's hard to pick because I mean I could pick all the essential blues people that I want, and then but I don't know. I just to me it's tough. For me, it's tough doing lists. That's why I was making a comment about the Rolling Stones because their list changes every year. Just about it seems like.
And you got to remember that Rolling Stone list is meant to generate discussion, so they do some funky stuff intentionally to get people outraged, so they get a bunch of clicks. So you keep talking jazz to drive me off the show. We did not have a jazz record tonight, Tucker. There was 0 jazz record.
You just ain't found the right jazz, Floyd.
Well, we've presented Coltrane and Art Blakey, two of the legends. Jimmy Smith. Yeah. Can't say I know that record, but all right.
The Beastie Boys covered Root Down.
I should promote too that the top 5 next week is going to be Johnny doing Beatles. So Beatles top 5, that ought to be a healthy discussion.
We already know what number 1 is. I don't think he's going to throw a curveball, and number 1 is going to be Sgt. Pepper, and Jake's going to disagree, and there's going to be a argument back and forth, and Jake is wrong, but it'll be back and forth.
All right,
I'm right, y'all.
So as long as the White Album isn't number 1, I can live with it.
It's top 5 for sure.
Let's see, the 3 I have in my collection, I have Revolver.
That's a great.
Thank you, Joe.
The White Album.
Thank you, Joe.
That's the only ones you have of those 2?
Yeah, my sons have the rest. Anything Beatles wise that I find, I pass on to them. Those are the only 2 that I want. I like Rubber Soul, but I gave him the copy I had.
Yeah, I was going to ask you not Rubber Soul and why the White Album, but
I like the White Album.
I think it's a mess.
I think it's got supposedly has to have. Did Clapton play on that? Supposedly.
Yeah, he did play on it. Yeah, he played the solo during "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
Yeah.
Revolver is just okay. Who is Green Monster?
Kind of looks like Harry.
Oh, is it?
It kind of.
Revolver is just okay.
I don't recognize the name. All right, so top 5. We do not have a top 5 nailed down for the following week. So we have Beatles. Any requests for top 5s out there from the live participants?
We'll come up with those. We have to guess who you are. You're not the crocodile hunter, but I can't see your image. So I don't know. That kind of winds up the show for tonight, guys. Again, message us if you think of anything for a top 5 or things you want to discuss or things you agreed with or disagreed with it. Joe got it, so it's Harry.
It does look. I thought it looked like Harry.
It's Harry.
But look at Harry getting on YouTube. Getting on YouTube.
Top 5 Zeppelin.
Oh. Soundtracks? Yeah, top 5 soundtracks. I like that idea.
Well, soundtracks are always been on our radar, but
yeah, and I think what we're going to do, we're not getting back to them. So I think what we're going to do is start opening up the 12 albums a week to have a soundtrack or 2 or have a live album or 2. So we'll talk about it. I think that's the best way to get the live and soundtracks in. It's just bleed them in. Yeah. Linda Ronstadt. I don't know. I know you're a big fan, Thomas. I don't know if that would we'll do the Linda Ronstadt top 2. Greatest Hits Volume 1, Greatest Hits Volume 2. You're probably good. If you want to do 3, that Spanish language one she had.
She has 3 Spanish ones.
But no, that's the Mis Padres or whatever.
There's actually 2. There's 3, right? Yeah, there's 3 different ones.
Survivor. No, we won't. I'm with you there, but I don't think people would go for that one.
Top 5 overrated records of all time.
That would be a fun one. We should do like some. Maybe we go do a round robin of like everybody bring their most, what in their opinion, the most overrated record.
We'll work on that. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice,
Well, I think everybody's going to agree. Like, I mean, it's
highly
not very,
overrated.
it's
a
not
piece
very
of crap.
well reviewed, so it'd have to be pretty bad to be worse than the reviews of it.
Like someone bringing Dark Side of the Moon would be. It might be for some people.
But man, Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby, that song got played.
Album is
in my
horrible.
5.0 with the rack cup down to my hip.
He made some money off of it.
He did.
I think Queen made some money off of it too.
Floyd wants top 3 grails from our collection too. That might be a good one too.
Yeah, I see people doing that. We try not to be elitist. Maybe we do the top 3.
Well, I mean, a grail. I mean, to me, that
Could be anything.
It could be
It
anything.
could be anything. Yeah, grails are your own. Like, which the house is on fire and you can only carry 3 out. Which ones are you taking with you? So
Grail, as in
it's in a locked box.
Floyd as like the most expensive.
no, like most valuable to you, means the most to you. And it could be for a personal reason. It could be for a music reason. It could be for a financial reason, I guess. Yeah. So
that's a good idea.
You know,
too.
I think mine. I could probably answer it. One of them for sure would be the original press of Zwan, self-titled. It's Billy Corgan's side project after Smashing Pumpkins that
actually,
I bought.
I like that record.
It's a great album, great record, and
you're giving away all away now.
That might be one of them.
Don't give them all away, buddy.
I gave a lot of them. I sold a lot of them.
It happens. All right, so I think that kind of winds it down, guys. But thank you for the suggestions. Also, guys, you know where to find us on Whatnot. Jake is not going to be on tomorrow, I don't think, because he's going to the doctor's.
I was going to go in the morning, but I've got a doctor's appointment that I totally forgot about. So I might go on because David and them were gonna come in and I was going to raid into them, but I probably won't come on until later.
All right, and of course, you know where to find Scott Saturday mornings, me Sunday mornings, and Joe. When are you on again? When are we going to see you?
I have no idea.
Are you going to be selling fishing lures or handbags?
No, I'm busy this weekend, and I'm going to be messing with this new computer setup. So I don't know if I'm going to be on this weekend or not.
All righty. Well, we'll keep an eye out for you, and we'll mention you. And I'm sure you'll be in our shows giving us a hard time.
Yeah, got to.
Yeah.
Got to put a smile on your face. At least if you're not laughing, I'll be laughing.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys, and you guys all have a. Floyd, I'm not sure, but we'll do something maybe tomorrow night. All right, so you guys all have a great night, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank y'all for having me. I kid around, but I really enjoyed being on last time and this time.
Always love having you on, Joe.
We loved you the last time.
Yeah.
Y'all have